The day's other headlines begin in Toronto, where a Delta Airlines plane crashed while landing at Pearson International Airport. Footage from the scene shows the plane upside down on the snowy tarmac. The FAA confirms all 80 people who were on board Flight 4819 from Minneapolis were evacuated. At least 19 people were injured. 3 of them are in critical condition. A temporary ground stop was put in place at the airport, though service has since resumed. It's at least the 4th major aviation incident across North America in just the past month. Officials now say at least 12 people have died from severe storms that swept through the South this weekend. One person died in Georgia from an uprooted tree that crashed into a home. And unrelenting rain that submerged entire communities killed at least 11 more across Kentucky. Floodwaters also submerged parts of West Virginia, Georgia, and Tennessee. Kentucky's Governor Andy Beshear said that at least 1,000 people stranded by high waters had to be rescued. And he stressed that the full toll of the storm is still not known.
We are still in the search and rescue phase of this emergency. We still have multiple different missions that are underway. There are still people that are in harm's way.
Farther west, the 10th and coldest polar vortex of this season is descending onto the Rockies and northern plains, bringing what forecasters call life-threatening cold. In parts of North Dakota, temperatures are expected to plunge to 50 degrees below zero when factoring in wind chill. Northern Texas could feel as low as 0 degrees starting tomorrow. In the Middle East, the Israeli military says a drone strike killed the head of Hamas's military operations in Lebanon today. The attack comes on the eve of an already extended deadline for Israel's withdrawal from the country under the terms of November's ceasefire deal between Israel and Hezbollah. An Israeli official now says that forces will remain across 5 strategic locations beyond tomorrow's deadline. Hezbollah's leader said they have no justification in doing so.
On February 18th, Israel must withdraw from all Lebanese territories which it occupied during its aggression. If the Israeli army stayed in a certain location, this means that it is occupying the location where it remains after it did not implement the agreement.
Meantime, families of Israeli hostages marched to the Knesset in Jerusalem today to mark 500 days since their loved ones were taken in the October 7th Hamas attacks. Some 70 Israeli hostages remain in captivity in Gaza. Of those, around half are believed to be dead. And more than 48,000 Palestinians have now been killed in Gaza since Israel launched its air and ground war there. That's according to Gaza's health ministry. In Rome, doctors are now treating Pope Francis for what they say is a polymicrobial respiratory tract infection, 3 days after the pontiff was admitted to the hospital with bronchitis. In a statement, the Vatican said the infection presents a complex clinical picture that will require an appropriate hospital stay. They did not say how long that could be. All weekend, well-wishers laid flowers outside the Gemelli Hospital where Pope Francis is being treated. The 88-year-old has a long history of health problems, though the Vatican says he remains in good spirits. And on this President's Day, a rare artifact from the nation's first commander-in-chief is being put up for sale. The letter from George Washington to a subordinate is dated May 7, 1777, when he was leader of the Continental Army. Written across both sides of a single piece of paper, Washington addresses a recent British raid on a military supply depot in Danbury, Connecticut. He writes that the attack could actually help inspire the American people to arms. The asking price for this piece of history, $150,000. Still to come on the NewsHour, European leaders are left scrambling after the U.S. proposes talks with Russia to end the war in Ukraine. Tamara Keith and Amy Walter break down the latest political headlines. And an Oscar-nominated documentary exposes the horrifying abuse of Native children in Canadian residential schools.